It is now abundantly clear why the St. Louis Blues made this one move involving Jimmy Snuggerud and Jake Neighbors. And we're going to break down some new quotes from head coach Jim Montgomery as it pertains to his plan moving forward and how it will unlock the Blues this season. We're going to break it all down in this episode of Blues Digest. But before we do that, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. About 67% of you who watch these videos at this point are not subscribed to the channel. So if you want to stay up to date with everything that's happening with your St. Louis Blues, go down below, hit that free subscribe button because this is the place to be for all your daily St. Louis Blues news. But let's jump right into it. We have some interesting stuff from Jim Montgomery, and the Blues have made some changes, and what continues to change stays the same. They're going with a lineup that they didn't start the season with, but a lineup that works. And we also get some interesting quotes as it pertains to the goaltending and the plan for the goaltending. So let's get into that. No real changes here to the lines from last game. And of course, now Mayu, I think this is very interesting. And this is from Jeremy Rutherford as well. Mayu is now with Broberg, and we touched on Mayu in a previous video. And, we were defending Mayu, guys. We weren't saying that, we were saying it's a bit of a problem, but we think it's more to do with the defense pairing of Tucker and Mayu than the player himself, right? Like, he's going to put up points. He's going to be fine. That's what we were stressing to, Blues fans, that it's going to be fine. They're going to mess with some stuff. And Broberg and Mayu look awesome together, right? Like, all the advanced analytics, small sample size still, they look really good. Now, the biggest thing to me is the forward group right now. And it also looks, by the way, that Joel Hofer is going to start tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. And for good reason, right? They're going to kind of keep bouncing back and forth. We'll get into the specifics of that in a second in terms of the goaltending. But Neighbors is still on the first line with Robert Thomas. And Neighbors has looked really good so far this season. And obviously Snuggerud is down on the third line, but I think that has to do with that synergy that they kind of found between Suter and Snuggerud last game against the Vancouver Canucks. So they look good together. Why would you break it up? You have a big win, right? You have something now, in Broberg and Mayu. Continue to run that. I like what Jim Montgomery is doing with this lineup. And you can see Jake Neighbors so far this season, 3 games played, and he has 3 goals. He is absolutely red hot. Could he hit 30 goals this season? And, this is from Blues Muse, and I'll throw it out to you guys, of the subscribers of the channel. Does Jake Neighbors hit 30 goals this year? I think it's definitely possible. If you look at, and we'll get to Snuggerud in a second, but if you look at his last couple of seasons, Jake Neighbors, if you look at last year, he had 46 points. He had 22 goals. I don't think with the way he started this season and the fact that he's on the top line right now and the team is playing well, I don't know if there's any reason to believe that he won't hit 30 goals. He is playing very, very well. So it's clear to me now why they've made this change and they're sticking with this change. Jim Montgomery likes to work with things that work, right? So he's found some pairings here within the forward group that seem to work. Neighbors is working well on that top line, and Snuggerud, who I want to touch on now, is working really well with Suter as his third line center there. And you can see here that Jimmy Snuggerud had a big night for the Blues in their win against Vancouver. He had 75% expected goal share at 5-on-5. Dominated, honestly, the game against the Vancouver Canucks. He had a great game, and that was him on the third line. And I think that also had something to do with Suter, invested interest. He wanted to beat the Canucks. He was on the Canucks last year. That all makes sense. But he was an impactful player in this game, and I think he's going to be able to do that over the course of this season. Will he impact every single game? I don't know, right? He's still a young guy, 21 years old, all of these things, but he is playing great. And you can see here, so far in his career, including the playoffs, and again, this is from Blues Muse, 17 games played. He's averaging 15 minutes time on ice, which for a rookie and a guy that young doesn't always happen, right? Hovering around like 8 to 12 minutes sometimes, right? But 15 minutes, hovering around 16 minutes, I should say. He has 5 goals, 6 assists, 11 points in those 17 games. And take in, some of these are in the playoffs. It's much harder to score in the playoffs, right? Like, he was putting on great performances, 14 hits, 10 blocks. He also put on a bunch of weight this summer. We covered that, heading into training camp. That is a 53-point full season pace, and he's only 21. And we were talking in the summer, Mark and I, on the channel about if Snuggerud was able to come in and play on the top line and maybe not have that much power play time and all, special teams, all that stuff. If he was able to come in, play on the top line, or even move throughout the lineup and put up 50 to 60 points, that is success. That is a successful season in my eyes for a rookie at this point, because he's still technically a rookie in the league, which is very impressive. So he looks really good to me. And you can see here all the advanced analytics too. He's great. He's blocking shots. He's playing physical, all this stuff. And he's going to be able to put the puck in the back of the net. We know that. We know that at this point. He is a goal scorer. He did it at college, or at the college level, going through school, and he's doing it now as well. So love that for Jimmy Snuggerud. He's going to be a special player, and I think he's going to continue to build off what he's built off so far in the small sample size of this season so far. And big game coming up, a big weekend too. You got Dallas on the weekend, and of course Chicago Blackhawks tonight, so that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Now, Jim Montgomery spoke out on the plan for the goaltending, because it's been a question so far this season, which I can't believe it's really been a question. I mean, people are talking about it, but let's be honest, like, Binnington's going to be fine, and the fact that Hofer's playing great is a great sign, right? So Monty on more, and this is from Jeremy Rutherford again, on even more splits amongst Binnington and Hofer this season. And he said, and I quote, "I don't see it being even, but I see it being closer to what it was last year." So Monty on whether that's product of a busy schedule or Hofer's progress. He said both. So obviously you need to rely on your backup goaltender in this league. But not only that, Hofer's been great. He was great against the Calgary Flames the other night. And again, questions started to pop up on Twitter and other social platforms like, hey, is this a problem now? Should we be worrying about Binnington? Well, the answer is no, first of all. But I think having a backup goaltender like Hofer that can come in, the Hall of Famer Joel Hofer coming in and giving you performances like that, you're going to find a lot of success this year, because, there's nights throughout a season where your starting goaltender is not on, but I'm expecting Binnington to be totally fine this year. So I love this. I think giving, Hofer more starts is actually a really good thing. If you look at Binnington's numbers from last year, he played 56 games. So Hofer is going to take a little bit more away from him. Binnington should be fresher come playoff time. And keep in mind, besides the regular season, I would assume Jordan Binnington is going to be on Team Canada's roster for the Olympics. He's going to be playing, if not just the roster, he's probably going to be the starting goaltender based on the Four Nations faceoff. So this guy is going to play a lot of hockey this year. And if Hofer can play, up to the level that we've seen so far, and again, he's going to have a great opportunity tonight. It looks like he's going against the Chicago Blackhawks, and then Binnington on Saturday against the Stars. They're going to be in great shape. And again, if you can take a little bit of the workload away from Binnington, a little bit more than last season, man, I think the Blues are in really, really good shape here. And again, Joel Hofer is your projected starter tonight against the Chicago Blackhawks. And so far this season, 1-0-0. He's played one game, and he has a 2 goals against average with a .931 save percentage. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch, ladies and gentlemen. You can see here one of the best players right now on the Blues, 3 goals in 3 games, man. Jake Neighbors says that Hof has made some huge saves, and a couple other comments from their game the other day. So it seems like the room is a little light right now. They know what they need to do. You got some chemistry brewing throughout the lineup. Lots of really good stuff. Let me know how you feel about all of this in the comments below. And speaking of comments, that takes us all the way to comment of the day, which comes from Light Sound Geometry. And they say, Logan Mailloux is fine. He has all the tools. And I think that was the sentiment that was shared throughout the fan base and in the comments yesterday. And exactly the point Mark and I were trying to make, that, it's a little crazy right now, the noise that's coming from the outside and Habs fans and all of that stuff. But ultimately, Logan Mailloux is a defenseman. He's not going to put up as many points in his first NHL season as a guy like Bolduc, who has had NHL experience and is a forward. Logan Mailloux is going to be perfectly fine. They just got to start experimenting with some stuff, get him going and get his confidence up. And he's going to be a great player in that role for the Blues, like we've been talking about all summer. So if you didn't check out that video, go check it out. That's exactly the point we were trying to make in that video. But let us know how you feel in the comments below. We'll be back for another video tomorrow. I'll keep you updated with everything going on with the Blues. And if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with everything St. Louis Blues.